out of the car this morning. I thought
Good morning. I call this meeting of the Pinellas County School Board on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 to order. Happy New Year to everyone. I do want to note that Mrs. Peters is unable to join us this morning, so all votes will reflect as 6 members present. This morning we're going to begin with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. Please stand and remain standing until the conclusion of the National Anthem.
Please join me for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red bells bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you. We'll start this morning with a video about a recent project that our middle schoolers undertook called Future Cities. Let's see that video.
Today we have 6 of our middle school pilot schools that are participating in the inaugural Future City Design Challenge. Their task for the past 3 weeks has been to design a futuristic city 100 years from now that will help with water and wind from increased hurricane activities. They had to use recyclable materials, plus do some research. And this project, they had to design, they had to build, they had to test. They also had to put together a presentation to present in front of judges.
Our structures are made out of graphite.
First time we've done this at this scale in the district. What's really neat about this is every student in the grade level at the school got to compete. So the students that are here today won their school level competition, and they have an opportunity now to sort of win the district. But along the way, every student is learning, they're growing, they're collaborating, and having a good time doing it.
And remember, there will never be another first, right? You were the first grand champions, Seminole Middle School.
I feel like just figuring out what elements that our city needed was really a big part of it, and figuring out how to proportion everything. There was a lot to do in just 3 days.
I like building everything as a team with everybody.
These are the students who are going to turn around and make the biggest impact on our future. And so why not give them that challenge? And so they were able to take this opportunity and not only put all of those core values together, but community, respect, public speaking, and then turning around and being able to mitigate problems and okay, this problem could arise, how am I going to solve it?
Providing enrichment this year has been just a different experience for our kids. So we're trying to make middle school education just a little bit more dynamic with kids, giving kids interest in what they like to do, what they enjoy doing, giving them a little freedom of creativity. So that's what the Future Cities project is all about.
Wonderful. Are there any comments from the board? No, well, I think Mrs. Sayadlowski of Seminole Middle School said it best when she said, here's a group of students who are mitigating problems using community, respect, public speaking, and solving some big problems. It was excellent to watch. Thank you. Next, we'll have the introduction of professional and community organization representatives by Isabel Mascarenas.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Hendrick, and staff. It is my pleasure to introduce the following representatives of community and professional organizations. From the Pinellas County Council of PTAs, Reagan Miller, Vice President of Advocacy. Representing the North Pinellas League of Women Voters, Debbie Entrikin and Karen Glass. From the Pinellas Arts for a Complete Education Coalition, Maria Athanasoulis. Members of the media in attendance, Nancy Guan, WUSF. Today we have a presentation from the Student Rights and Responsibility Committee. Please welcome students Chanel Williams and Leah Gordon from Lakewood High School and their principal, Kanisha Garcia.
Good morning. It's great to have you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Chanel Williams. I am a senior at Lakewood High School with a 4.39 GPA. I am also in the Center for Advanced Technologies, where I've received many certifications. I am also a dual enrollment student at St. Petersburg College, where I'm halfway done to receive my associate in arts. I'm the current elected senior class president of Lakewood High School and the founder of Lakewood's Poetry Club. I created this club because I am passionate about giving students a chance to express themselves, and I am also passionate about leading. Hence, my future plans become an English professor and eventually a dean of my department. I've applied to attend Harvard University with the goal of encouraging others to learn in creative ways. Last year, in 11th grade, I held small poetry slams on the concrete stage during lunch to ensure that no one's voice would go unheard. I wanted to extend the voices of all students around campus. The leadership team this year demonstrated that they were open to student voice, choice, events, and opportunities. That eventually led to something EPIC. The acronym EPIC stands for Extraordinary People in Creation. This is the name of a poetry competition and talent show that I wrote, hosted, performed, and directed on December 2nd of this school year. All Lakewood students were invited to participate, and over 900 students were able to attend this event during the school day. This demonstrated that our school community cared about the voices, thoughts, and opinions of the students. Not only was it a fun experience, but it enriched our school culture. Our school's focus on the student experience this year has become a great balance between creativity and curriculum. I am also a contributing member of the school advisory committee. I attend the monthly meetings, review data, ask clarifying questions, and make recommendations. When I was offered the chance to join these monthly meetings to discuss academic growth and engage in discussion to move our school forward, administration listened to the thoughts and opinions of a student advocate like me and made changes based off my input. To close, I would like to emphasize some of our school's honorable distinctions. First, Lakewood High School launched PBIS this year, which stands for the Positive Behavior Incentive System. This has resulted in a 73% decrease in discipline thus far. Our school is also participating in Leader in Me and Guys Read initiatives this year. This is also our inaugural year as the 3DE school with 95% of our freshman students enrolled in this program. There has also been a 28% increase in academic grades of A's, B's, and C's, and this data has not gone unrecognized. Over 500 students were recognized by having honor roll, principal list, and perfect attendance during Q1 of this school year. As we look towards the future, I am happy to announce that Lakewood High School listened to the student input this year, and next year there will be a grand opening of the Emerging Technology Program and Cosmetology Program directly linked to Pinellas Technical College and the city of St. Petersburg. I am thankful that my school listened and advocated for the student experience at Lakewood and that they are sharing with students and families what the vision of 100% student success looks and feels like. Now I will turn it over to my fellow senior to speak on more amazing opportunities Lakewood has to offer.
Hello, my name is Leah Gordon. I am a senior at Lakewood High School where I have attended all 4 years. I am currently in the ALMA program at Lakewood, which is the Athletic Lifestyle Management Academy. Through the program, an exam is offered to become a personal trainer and medical assistant. This year, I will be taking both exams to become certified. At Lakewood, I am also a part of the Health Squad, which is a club to promote a healthy lifestyle. Through this club, we offer cooking classes and a clothes and food pantry. I am also a student trainer where I assist a certified athletic trainer before, during, and after sporting events like football, basketball, and baseball. Being a student trainer, I have assisted athletes with rehabilitation, which helps the athlete work through injuries. For example, if they hurt their shoulder, we would tell the athlete to put a ball on the wall and create circle movements with their hands for exercise. I am also a part of the National Honor Society, NHS, where we conduct volunteer hours and community service projects such as tutoring, the Angel Tree Toy Drive, and blood drives. Next year, I plan to go to college and major in business administration. I have been accepted into multiple colleges like Fort Valley State University, Albany State University, Savannah State University, and Bethune-Cookman University, and I plan on applying to Florida A&M University. Joining an HBCU, historically black college and university, is important to me. This year at Lakewood, they have started PBIS points, which has improved the climate of the school. It has increased the excitement level of being at school. Lakewood's positive energy also caused me to meet friends. The teachers at Lakewood also provide a sense of community and openness. For example, my teacher, Ms. Halstead, is easy to talk to and always willing to listen. Thank you for allowing me to share about my experiences at Lakewood. I'd also like to mention some other highlights about our school. The ALMA program received the Academy of Distinction this year. Our junior varsity football team was the 2023 Pinellas County Athletic Conference champion. The varsity football has been district champion since and before my 9th grade year. Our visual arts department had 14 scholars who received awards for high school word and image exhibit. Our swim and dive team made it to regionals. From progress monitoring 1 in August to progress monitoring 2 in December, we have increased proficiency by 14%, but we are just getting started. Progress monitoring 3 in May will show that it is always good at the Wood. Lakewood provides many opportunities and ways to get involved. There is a fit for every student. Thank you.
Have a good day.
That was wonderful. Thank you. You both are clearly very proud of your school, and I want you to know that we're all very proud of you. So keep leading, keep speaking. Mrs. Garcia, thank you so much. You must be very proud of your school. It's wonderful. We'll move on to item 2, amendments to the agenda. Mr. Hendrick, are there any recommended amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair. Item 7.5, I'm pulling from the agenda. It was a request approval for school board member travel outside the county. The travel in January will not occur. And so we'll bring back the other travel later at a later meeting when there's some other travel to be included on that one. The other items will remain as numbered.
Thank you. Are there any other recommended changes? Seeing none, as board chair, I find good cause to amend the agenda as described by Superintendent Hendrick. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
I motion.
Second. Mrs. Long with a motion, Mrs. Cook with a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Vote is 6-0. The agenda passes as amended. Special order agenda. We have 2 items on our special order agenda today. We'll start with item 4.1, presentation of the proclamation recognizing January 2024 as National Mentoring Month. May I have a motion to approve this item? A second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Meyer, a second by Mrs. Kane. Mr. Hendrick, would you like to introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I call our Chief Strategy and Impact Officer, Jennifer Dull, up to tell us a little bit more about this proclamation for National Mentoring Month.
Good morning, Madam Chair, board members, staff in the community. I'm extremely proud to bring this proclamation recognizing January as the National Mentoring Month. Mentors play an important and critical role in the lives of the students they serve. And research also indicates that students with mentors have better attendance, better academic performance, higher graduation rates, as well as decreased drug and alcohol use. As a district, we have many different programs that people can engage in to become mentors, including Lunch Pals, Take Stock in Children, 5,000 Role Models, Girlfriends, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We also have over 1,000 active and amazing mentors serving over 2,000 students in our district. Lastly, I'd like to make sure that we acknowledge our Office of Strategic Partnerships, who are always actively looking for more mentors. So, we encourage anyone who has the heart and wants to impact the life of a student to reach out to us at any time, because we have the training and can provide those supports to make sure mentors, you can become a very high-level mentor. And so we're very proud to bring this proclamation to you today.
Thank you. Mrs. Long, would you read the proclamation?
Proclamation National Mentoring Month, January 2024. Whereas the goals of National Mentoring Month are to raise awareness of the value of mentoring, recruit individuals to mentor, and encourage organizations to engage and integrate quality mentoring into their efforts. And whereas a mentor is a caring person who is consistently present and who devotes time to a young person to help them discover their personal strengths and achieve their full potential through a structured, trusting relationship. And whereas quality mentoring encourages positive choices, promotes self-esteem, supports academic achievement, and introduces young people to new ideas. And whereas mentoring programs have also been effective in combating school violence and discipline problems, substance abuse, and truancy, while continuing to foster social connections. And whereas research shows that youths who participate in a mentoring relationship are more likely to finish high school and continue to college. And whereas National Mentoring Month gives us the opportunity to appreciate the staff and volunteers who dedicate their time to quality mentoring programs and celebrate the young people who have found their inner strengths with the help of a mentor. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Pinellas County, Florida, hereby proclaim the month of January 2024 as National Mentoring Month, and urge all to observe this week by taking time to encourage and acknowledge the impact of mentors in Pinellas County who give so unselfishly of their time and their talents so students can be successful. Signed this 9th day of January 2024.
Thank you. Seeing no comments, I'll take a vote. All those in favor of supporting this as National Mentoring Month, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0. Item 4.2, presentation of the 2022 to 2023 Independent Citizens Referendum Oversight Committee, ICROC, annual report to the Pinellas County School Board and citizens of Pinellas County. Mr. Hendrick, would you like to introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We annually have ICROC come and do a presentation, the chairperson, on how we're doing with our referendum spending in accordance with the board and the voters' wishes. I had the opportunity to sit on ICROC for 5 years when I was the head of teaching and learning, and can attest to the dedication of the groups that come and provide that oversight and ask good questions and push the staff to make sure. Mr. Smith and the finance team also sits on that to make sure that we are spending the funds in accordance with the voters' wishes. And so Dr. Evans, who now sits on that as the Chief Academic Officer, is going to introduce the item and this year's board chair for the report. Dr. Evans?
Yes, sir. Well, good morning. Happy New Year, school board members, Mr. Hendrick and staff. Yes, we are pleased to be here today. Some of the exciting work we get to do is to share with you the annual report to the board on the 22-23 annual report of our expenditures. It was in November of 2004 that the voters of this community first approved the referendum, and as you well know, it has been approved 4 times since that time, last time in 2020. The school board established then and has continued to establish spending priorities for these monies, with 80% dedicated to teacher salaries and 20% of the funds used to support reading, technology, and visual and performing arts. Since the referendum's inception, the board established the Independent Citizens Referendum Oversight Committee that Mr. Hendrick just referenced, ICROC, to function as an advisory group to the board. ICROC meets quarterly to review all referendum expenditures and ensure that the initiatives are following the intent of the board and the public. ICROC includes representatives from the Pinellas Economic Development Council. ICROC also has a member from COQUEBS, the Concerned Organization for the Quality Education of Black Students, as well as the League of Women Voters, the Pinellas Realtor Organization, Arts for a Complete Education, and the Pinellas Council of PTAs, and the Pinellas Ed Foundation, I probably should have mentioned. Each year, a member of ICROC presents the annual report to the school board and the public, and tonight, or this morning, our report will be given by our ICROC chairperson. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Reagan Miller.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. ICROC continues to meet quarterly to oversee referendum expenditures and provide assurances to the board and the public that the funds are being spent to meet the intent of the voters. In our quarterly reviews, we pay close attention to ensuring that this year's funds are spent on this year's students in a responsible and equitable manner. It is my pleasure to present the following highlights as examples of initiatives supported by the referendum. A total of $44.4 million allocated in the 2022-23 school year towards recruiting and retaining high-quality teachers, with $5,734 of every teacher's salary funded by the referendum. This is a $359 increase from the 2021-22 school year. Over $15.5 million was allocated to support arts, reading, and technology innovations across our schools. In the visual arts, every art teacher received discretionary funds to purchase classroom materials, and hundreds of teachers benefited from enhanced professional development. Referendum money also supported field trips to local art museums and art centers for over 8,000 students and continued our successful summer art camps. In the performing arts, more than 100 music classrooms received funding for instruments and equipment. New teachers received enhanced support to ensure a successful start to their careers, and high school band uniforms were replaced at 3 schools. In partnership with the Florida Orchestra, referendum funds supported the Florida Teaching Artist Initiative. Additionally, referendum funds supported all county events in band, chorus, and orchestra, including Ignite Camp, which also includes theater and dance. In technology and digital learning, funds were used to acquire software and other supportive technology equipment to bolster the PCS Connect's one-to-one computer initiative. In addition, enhanced trainings were provided to assist teachers with integrating technology into lessons to foster student creativity and innovation, research and information fluency, critical thinking, problem solving, and collaboration and communication. In support of reading, referendum funds were provided to every school to purchase needed resources and materials for their classrooms. Funds continue to support targeted programs for grades K through 2. Hundreds of teachers from all grade levels attended trainings specific to the needs of their student in meeting state standards, and referendum funds also supported efforts to improve student scores on the ACT and the SAT. As we look towards continued referendum implementation, ICROC will remain steadfast in providing oversight on these invaluable resources and keep the school board and public informed of the district's progress. Thank you for having me here this morning.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? I don't see any. I would just say thank you for volunteering to be on that committee, and everyone else who does for overseeing that significant amount of funds and clearly the significant impact on our district. Also, I thought the reports were thorough and clear, when I read them, I am inspired. I'm absolutely inspired that the people of this county routinely affirm this referendum. They believe in and they invest in our schools, and it makes a significant difference. So thank you for your service on that committee. Moving on to item number 5, public comments on agenda items. Mrs. Hauk, do we have any speakers to agenda items today?
Yes, Madam Chair, we do.
Members of the public have 3 separate opportunities to address the board when we gather for a business meeting. The first is public comment on agenda items. The second is at public hearings, most of which are policies. And the last is after our meeting, when speakers may address the general business of the district. At each opportunity for public input, board members are here to listen to you. This is not a time for interaction, but the board will take your comments into consideration before it votes on agenda items. The board is committed to a standard of civility and decorum in conducting our meetings. This includes refraining from clapping or making audible noises during or after a speaker's comments. We appreciate you assisting us in maintaining a civil and constructive environment. Lastly, please note that this meeting and all public comments will be broadcast live on the internet, and the video will be publicly archived. Members of the public may always communicate with the board through our email address, board@pcsb.org, or by calling the board office at 588-6300. Thank you. Mrs. Hauk, would you call the speakers?
Yes, Madam Chair, board members, and Mr. Hendrick. Our first speaker this morning is Mark Clutho. He's speaking to items 7.13 and 7.17.
Mark Clutho, Largo. 7.17, completion of the site work at Clearwater High School. What an eyesore. What an eyesore. I mean, don't need to say anything more. 7.13. Your goal, strategic priority, fiscal and operational responsibility. Your rationale, provide high-quality education for all students in an efficient and effective manner. Not well, of course, I should read that this is your approval of purchasing items in accordance with bid policies and procedures. Well, you're doing this all the time, and what has that gotten us? You know? Here's the graph. What the climate looks like. And it's headed in the wrong direction. Your bid policies. The word is correlation. You keep going down the wrong path. The wrong path. UN says dire consequences of climate change. So, here's an article about insurance and a photograph of what happened with a house, and of course we could extrapolate and say the same thing might happen at a school or a building that the schools have, but you see, doesn't look like anything happened to the palms there.
Madam Chair, there are no more speakers for agenda items.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6, unfinished business. Item 6.1, public hearing to consider the amendment to policy 6320, purchasing and bidding, 6423, use of credit cards, 6424, purchasing cards, and 6440, cooperative purchasing. This is the second reading, and there are no changes. May I have a motion to approve these policy amendments? Ms. Meyer. Motion by Mrs. Meyer, a second by Mrs. Edmond. Mr. Hendrick, would you like to introduce this item?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This is the second reading for an update to one of our policies to bring us in line with some current practices, and I'll ask our Director of Planning and Policy, Leanna Eisen, to explain more for the board and the public.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Madam Chair, board members, Superintendent Hendrick, staff, and community, we're recommending for our first policy hearing of 2024, we're recommending revisions to the purchasing policies as a result of just operational continuous improvement processes. These recommendations were discussed during the October workshop, and the first reading was on the November 14th school board meeting. The amendment to policy 6320, purchasing and bidding, combines policies 6423, use of credit cards, 6424, purchasing cards, and 6440, cooperative purchasing, into a single policy, which will remain policy 6320. In addition to clarifying language, the substantive amendments include adding section 1D, ethical conduct for purchasing staff, based on existing school board policy, Florida statute, and the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing Code of Conduct. Adding section 2A3, invitations to negotiate, which established the authority to solicit goods and services on behalf of the district. This is similar to the request for proposal process and allows the district to negotiate with multiple vendors who score highly in the evaluation process instead of only the highest scoring vendor. The amendments clarify section 2D, 3D, that procurements over $50,000 require school board approval, which is in alignment to Florida Board of Education rules. In previous policy, it was unclear if the amount was $50,000 exactly or more than $50,000. The policy adds the definition of a cone of silence to the policy in alignment with Florida statute and state board rules regarding lobbying and communication during solicitation. This is in contracts already, but was not specifically stated in policy. The last revision adds section 5, authority to disbar or suspend, which applies to suppliers who knowingly violate the cone of silence, those who have been disbarred by other governmental or public agencies, or those convicted of a crime during the course of business. This is also already reflected in all of our purchasing documents, but was not clearly defined in our policy, and we did not clearly identify what acts would lead to being disbarred. We recommend approving the amendments to these policies today.
Thank you. Mrs. Haug, do we have any public comment?
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Mark Clutho, speaking to 6.1. Mark Clutho.
The public hearing?
Yes, this is the public hearing on the amendments to the policies regarding purchasing.
Theater lighting?
No, that is on our non-consent agenda. It's 8.1 on our non-consent agenda. This is item 6.1, unfinished business. If you'd like to come back during the non-consent agenda.
No, Madam Chair, he could not come back to the non-consent. He's already had the opportunity. So he did sign up to speak for the public hearing at item 6.1.
That's right. I guess
Mr. Clutho, do you have comments to the policy?
Oh, purchasing and bidding. Yeah, well, this is right along the lines of what I was speaking to with 713. You're putting together sick buildings. It's the same old thing. You can't get there from here. The parts don't work. You see the end result. It's the old saying, the proof's in the pudding. You don't change. You don't change one iota. And so, the same thing keeps happening like this. And like this headline here, report details growing toll of rapid Arctic warming. That's a result of your policies. You're not on the right track. When's it going to happen? Ever? It's really sad.
Madam Chair, there are no more speakers.
Thank you. We'll move on to board comment and discussion. Mrs. Kane? Oh, forgive me. Okay, thank you. Are there any board comments on item 6.1? No? Well, thank you, Mrs. Eisen, and thank you for walking us through all of the changes in our workshops and the first reading and such. We'll take a vote on item 6.1, the public hearing to consider the amendment to policies 6320, 6423, 6424, and 6440. All those in favor of those amendments say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, the item passes 6-0. We'll move on to our consent agenda as amended. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as
Move for
amended?
approval.
Motion from Mrs. Kane, second? Second from Mrs. Long. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes 6-0. We have one item on our non-consent agenda today, item 8.1, request approval of the theater lighting renovations. May I have a motion to approve this item?
Move for approval.
Motion for approval from Mrs. Kane and a second from Mrs. Meyer. Mr. Hendrick, would you like to introduce this item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Earlier, we heard from IC Rock a little bit about referendum funding, and it happens that on today's agenda, we have one of those items that we're able to improve as a result of the referendum. Our theater spaces have lots of items in them that come from some of the support from the referendum. Some also comes from our capital dollars as well. I'm going to first ask Mr. Herbick, our Chief Operations Officer, to explain a little bit about that process, and then he's going to pass it to Jory Spencer, our Specialist for Performing Arts, to talk a little bit more about this particular process.
Thank you, Mr. Hendrick, Madam Chair and board members. About 3 years ago, the Maintenance Department and Performing Arts Department were tasked with really enhancing the student experience in all of our high school auditoriums, our 16 traditional high school auditoriums, to give our performing arts students the best opportunity they had to showcase their talents. And so the Maintenance Department, Performing Arts, we got together, we evaluated each of those 16 high schools, different systems in each of those auditoriums, from the audio system to the control boards to the stage rigging to the theater lights. And when we were done with that, Performing Arts and us worked together. We made a priority list that it targets different layers of needs. The first tier of school, the highest level of needs, we found were at 3 schools, at Tarpon Springs, Pinellas Park, and St. Pete High School. And we completed those improvements about 2 years ago. What you have in front of you today is for the improvements for the second tier of high schools. That would be at Countryside, Northeast, and Osceola. And these are for the theater lights and improving the stage rigging and all of the infrastructure that supports that. This item before you today is to be paid for with capital outlay dollars from the maintenance department. But the other part of the project that will come after this is done, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Spencer, will include the sound system. It will be paid for with referendum dollars. And together, this project and the project to come with the audio improvements is really what is going to enhance that student experience at each of those auditoriums for those performing arts students. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Spencer.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I always love the opportunity to come and talk about some of the great things we're doing for our performing arts students and in that performing arts world. Of course, we are all so committed to making sure that we provide truly state-of-the-art learning facilities to all of our students. And to that end, as Mr. Herbeck mentioned, we've worked to set aside funds over the past several years to upgrade our high school auditoriums, which are key learning spaces for our performing arts students, but really for all of our students. And so, as you mentioned, we've worked through that priority list and looking at all of those spaces. Some of those systems for lighting and for sound were more than 30 years old, and the systems weren't the same across the board. And we wanted the latest of LED technology that is used in more modern venues. So really, as we were looking, it became so important to retrofit those learning spaces and to align to the audio upgrades that we're doing with Referendum and will continue to do with Referendum. One of the earliest completed projects, as mentioned, was Pinellas Park High, and the differences have been staggering. The switch to intelligent lighting and to LED fixtures allows our students to work with the most up-to-date technology and the technology they were likely to see if they pursued a theater job. So that was something that was really important to us. What are the technologies that they would see in the real world, so that we say. And so the systems are much more energy efficient and more easily programmable for complex theatrical productions. So I'm just really grateful that we're investing in creating these equitable spaces and really providing the absolute best for our students in that experience. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer, Mr. Herbeck, and Mr. Hendrick. Is there any discussion from the board on this item? Mrs. Kane?
Hi, thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. Jerry Spencer. Also, thank you to Reagan Miller for coming from Icy Rock today to give us this presentation. A fabulous way to start the new year, in my opinion. Talking about arts and providing all that we can for our students in the arts and entertainment world. And thank you, Mr. Jerry, for pointing out, too, I think when we look at the budget, it looks like a high number, but the world of entertainment is changing every day, just like the technology world for the business world, and LED technology is where it's at, and those programs are more expensive, and updating our kind of outdated technology in our theaters is only going to provide our students with more opportunity for their future, for their career paths, and also for their college experiences as some of them try to apply for arts colleges throughout the nation. It's going to give them state-of-the-art opportunities, and we can't thank Icy Rock and the referendum and the voters of Pinellas County enough for being so supportive of arts education in Pinellas. I really believe in my heart that is what's going to elevate Pinellas. We're going to make our goal of being that A district, and it's going to be because of the arts and humanities. I feel it. And so because arts really is synonymous with creativity and innovation, understanding and connection, and it is things like this that help us to reach those goals with our students, to provide them opportunities to connect with one another and connect in these amazing spaces that we have in our high schools. So I thank you to Mr. Herbeck and the maintenance department for all of their work. It is sort of different than a lot of maintenance to do a theater, it really is, and I understand that more than most. And as we strive to provide these successful pathways for college and career for our students, it's really things like this that make it happen. And also, I had a comment for Icy Rock, and I just wanted to fit this in, and I was going to do it later, but I'm going to do it now since we're talking about arts. There is a really awesome quote about teachers, and so much of our referendum budget, is going towards our teachers' salary. And you may think, well, a lot of times we hear about referendum as being synonymous with art, being synonymous with technology and reading, and really so much of it is going to our teachers. But they're so pivotal in the arts experience and the educational experience. And I found a really wonderful quote. This is from Albert Einstein, and it says, "It is the supreme arts of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge." And they're just so pivotal in the process, and I'm so grateful to Icy Rock for the referendum to continue to help us have amazing teachers who are willing to come every day and inspire our children through things like this. So thank you to Ms. Miller. Thank you to all of you for all of the work on this. Thank you.
Well said, Mrs. Kane. Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, we'll take a vote on item 8.1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 6-0. Moving on to new business. Item 9.1, items introduced by the superintendent. Mr. Hendrick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back to all of our staff and students. We hope everybody had a great winter break, and we have a busy January, lots of events coming. I'll touch on a few in just a moment. But first, I wanted to just give an update. As we know, most of the southeastern United States is experiencing some rainy and windy conditions today, and we have been monitoring the conditions locally and obviously decided to have school today. We work in collaboration with the Pinellas County Emergency Management Team in deciding whether to keep schools open, whether it be for this event or a hurricane or others, and certainly decided today to keep school open. It may be a little challenging this afternoon during dismissal, and obviously with our schools, we are working with them to use common sense in that dismissal period time and work with parents on early dismissals. Certainly there will be the neighborhoods that typically flood will likely be impacted this afternoon, but our buses are safe to be on the road, and we look forward to a smooth dismissal today. We did communicate all of these things through our website, local news, social media channels, that parents should make the best choice for themselves. And if that involves not attending school all day today or a portion of today, that's an excused absence, and certainly that will continue throughout the rest of the day. We did cancel some outdoor activities this afternoon. Obviously, no soccer matches. The wind would be a challenge either way, but the fields will be too wet. But most of our indoor activities will continue. But again, for our employees and to our families, please exercise caution and make the best decision for you and your family. Going backwards, just before the break, it was a great pleasure to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony for the YMCA and Mangrove Bay Middle School. And I thank all of our board members, all 7 were there dressed in their teal to match the YMCA's colors. But the facility is now open, and it is working with members of the YMCA community and soon with our students. We're finalizing plans for our Health and Wellness Leadership Academy that will be at Mangrove Bay Middle School, a magnet school that will open in August of 2024. And as luck would have it, today is your opportunity to apply for that. The district application program window opened last night at midnight for all of our magnet, fundamental, and career academies. Families may apply for those programs through January 19th. There are over 80 magnet, fundamental, and career academy programs in Pinellas County Schools. You can find the link to those programs, how to apply. We hosted a Facebook Live event last night to help families apply if they needed it. All of those things on our website. We do, of course, have upcoming this weekend many Martin Luther King Jr. celebrations. It is Monday, January 15th. Our bands will be out performing in Clearwater, St. Petersburg, and Tarpon Springs parades. There are many events planned that I know the board is attending as well. Over the last couple of years, especially in Pinellas County, we've looked at it as not a day off, but a day on. And I want to thank our students and our teachers who will be there on Monday, quote unquote, on their day off, doing the parades and celebrating Dr. King's great legacy. And I look forward to attending many of those community celebrations myself in the next couple of days. Coming up also on January 16th, 17th, and 18th is a new opportunity for middle school parents to get information on advanced studies information for high school. These sessions will inform families on college-level courses offered in high school and suggested academic pathways as they start to plan out their high school journey. They'll be held at Pinellas Park High School, Gibbs, and Countryside High Schools. It's the same session each night, so parents can attend any one of the three, and you can find out more information on our website. Also coming up soon on January 20th is our annual FAFSA kickoff event, the free application for federal student aid, which is a requirement for students to earn federal student aid, federal grants, work-study funds, and loans, and almost any type of federal or college aid for any college that they apply to. The event is on Saturday, January 20th from 9 to noon, and it will feature goodie bags, opportunities to win prizes, but most importantly, helping families and students complete the process. The long-awaited changes to the FAFSA are here. It's a much shorter document, but still nonetheless has some tricky parts to it. So you can find a link on our website about that event and learn more. Also coming up is our annual Evening of Excellence. It's less than 2 weeks away, and at this special event, we'll celebrate our Outstanding Teacher of the Year nominees and announce our Pinellas County Schools Teacher of the Year. I want to thank the Pinellas Education Foundation for hosting this ceremony that will take place on Monday, January 22nd at the Mahaffey Theater. Again, you can find more information on our website. And as I do each meeting, I want to honor one of our employees who is a standout and was recognized through our core values. And this meeting is Matt Atwell, the Area 4 General Manager in the Maintenance Department. His colleague noted, one of our principals in our district said, "I'm honored to recognize Mr. Atwell for demonstrating the core value of integrity. On any given day, he's committed to creating a safe and risk-free learning environment for our students. He proactively works alongside my head plan operator to problem solve with a positive and professional attitude. Most recently, he immediately addressed the safety concern that we had and already created a resolution. He's always doing the right things for the right reasons." Thank you to Mr. Atwell and all of our employees for the work they do each and every day.
Wonderful, thank you. Items introduced by the school board attorney.
I have no report this morning. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And items introduced by the board? Mrs. Long?
Just a quick update for the Tarpon Springs Martin Luther King event. Breakfast will start at 8 o'clock at the United Methodist Church, and then line up for the parade is at 10 o'clock. I will be doing my thing for the breakfast, and after that I have to leave. I had a family death, so I'll be at the funeral. But please, if any of you are staying, the walk it's a long walk, but it is a very nice, and Saturday's supposed to be pretty and not real hot, so you guys should really enjoy yourselves. So I hope to see people come out at Dorset Park. After the parade, they will have activities, a DJ, they're going to have a baseball game, so it'll be a lovely day. Thank you.
Mrs. Edmond?
Thank you, and thank you, Mrs. Long and Superintendent Hendrick, for your update. Some of the things that I would like to speak about have already been touched on, but I think it's important to emphasize that right now is the opportunity for families who are interested in the application period to apply for their preferred schools, as well as get additional information. Also, as mentioned, January 15th is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and several events will be occurring. So I encourage you all to find something that you're interested in and attend so that you can continue to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And as the new year begins, we all have our goals of, what we're going to do to do things better or different, and it's another opportunity to sit back and refocus. So I am excited about the new year. I know many teachers and students are excited as well. I've seen some of the social media posts from schools highlighting the first day back, and it's just absolutely wonderful to see that everybody's excited to be back. I do have some requests. I know that we do plan on discussing the board operating manual. I would like to add that we discuss board member travel with that, and I can talk more about that at a workshop, as well as having an update regarding the community listen and learn sessions, as well as if there are any updates regarding drafting a letter or a document to legislators regarding deregulation on behalf or from the board. So thank you very much. That concludes my comments.
Okay. Next item, Mrs. Woodford, do we have any requests? We certainly just heard the few from Mrs. Edmond. I don't think you need to repeat those.
Well, I'd like to make sure I captured those okay. When you discuss the board operating manual, you would like to add board member travel?
Yes.
You'd like to discuss the community listen and learns?
Yes, the dates.
The dates. And you'd also like to consider a letter for dereg suggestions from the board?
At our previous workshop, there was conversation about it. I would like to know if there's been an update since the session has started.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. I've got those.
Thank you. With that, I adjourn this meeting and move to public participation. Mrs. Hauk, do we have any speakers today?
Yes, Madam Chair, there are 2 speakers.
Thank you. So we'll move to the public comment on the general business of the district. Please note that the views and comments of the public speakers are their own and are not endorsed nor sponsored by the school board or district. We cannot ensure accuracy of statements made, but will review concerns that are raised and take appropriate action, which may include clarifications or the referral of speakers to the proper staff member for assistance. Additionally, please note that although board members or Superintendent Hendrick may leave the dais briefly, there are speakers in the back room, and we will continue to be able to hear your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The 2 speakers are Mark Clutho and Sarah Vannon Goendan.
Mark Clutho, Largo. I had a meeting with my lawyer, and he instructed me that I have every right to say that people up there on the dais are supposed to cough, sneeze correctly as public service announcements have been made thousands of times. You can't make a rule to say, according to my lawyer, that I cannot say that. Now, you want to take action? You go right ahead. It'd be a big mistake. You know, in the past, I've had to correct grammar. Tell me I can't do it. This is supposed to be where education starts. Here's this big article from the Ditz Stephanie Hayes at the St. Pete Times. Oh, what a clown. Razzing moms for stupidity. What a clown. And here we have Tampa Bay, people to watch in 2024. I don't know how I keep getting missed. The science I've been bringing here over 2 decades. And the stupid fools there, they don't print anything about it. And the planet keeps burning. Rapid Antarctic melting appears all but certain. And as I said before, look at the graph. Look at the graph. Correlation. The stupid fools, I'll tell you. You people, I don't know what's wrong with you. Why won't you embrace the science? High performance, passive solar building. It's so easy.
Mr. Goendan?
Respected Chairperson and the board, thanks for providing me the opportunity. My son is in the 5th grade in Elisa Nelson Gifted Program. So we got the email to apply for the district application program. We went to Discovery Night for both Eastlake Middle and Dunedin Highland Middle. And my son is leaning towards Eastlake Middle, but we are not zoned for Eastlake Middle. So what we are told is if we apply for Eastlake Middle, then we lose the feeder program to Dunedin Highland Middle. And if he doesn't get into Eastlake Middle, he won't be able to get into Dunedin Highland Middle as well. We'd like to see if there's any opportunity to suspend that rule for this year, because it's hard to get into Eastlake Middle from where we are in Palm Harbor. And if we don't get in, I don't want to lose the opportunity to miss out on Dunedin Highland Middle. My 2 girls went there, so they really liked it. I really liked the school. But my son wants to really try for Eastlake Middle. So that's my request for the board. And
we'll have a member of our staff touch base.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Madam Chair, there are no more speakers.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today, and Happy New Year.